Hi and welcome to Easy Fishing. This episode we're using the short pole for a very short session. It will be dark in about an hour and 3/4, so I've got to crack on. I have only brought two baits with me. Punch bread, got a slice of in my bread box, small container of liquidised white crumb, about 3/4 of a pint, some large worms, some lob worms, if I hold them up. Proper worms. And some dendrobinas from my wormery. Just a good handful. So I'm going to get cracking. Now, today, the short pole, I am using exactly the same stuff as I would use for whip fishing. The rig is even the same rig, it's just shortened down slightly. Now I have two sections with me, one for fishing on the bread, which is got the whip rig on it, and one for fishing for the perch, I hope, on chop worm, with the possibility of other fish. The Silverfish Rig has a size 16 to 010 line. It's a Drennan barbless maggot hook. This one has a size 10 Camasan B590, which is also a bit of Drennan. Other than that, the only other thing I've got is a cupping kit. Again, a Drennan universal, fits straight onto the pole. But if you haven't got a cupping kit, can't afford one of these Preston Mega Pots will fit straight on. So let's crack on. So first things first, the only other bit of equipment that I've got with me that I wouldn't have if I was whip fishing is a short roller on a bait stick. Now, strictly speaking, you don't need it, it just makes life easier. Especially on a busy towpath, you will see a lot of people backwards and forwards here. I can't afford to run the pole behind me, I've got to roll it down the side there. And I don't really want it to drop in the canal. So I'm just running that underneath my chair and resting on there so it's safe. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's wet the bread. So just dip the pole cup, very useful pole cup for things like this. And just pour that in the liquidised bread. See if that's wet enough. Probably not. Let's have a bit more. Now, I'm also in a town centre. There's going to be lots of passers-by, dogs, noise, etc. But I don't know if the video camera can pick it up, but just to my right, there's a large collection of ducks, and people regularly feed the ducks here. So, I've wetted my breadcrumb off, probably a little bit too much, but I can always add a bit more to dry it out. So, I've plumbed up. All I've got to do is introduce some into my swim. So I'm going to feed just 3 sections out. So that's the top 2 plus one other section. So it's virtually the same length as the whip. So here we go. I'm just going to add the section on, rest it on there, and fill it full of wet liquidised bread. I'm going to feed about half a cupful. Now, like I say, if you cannot afford a cupping kit, although they're cheap, if you can't afford it, buy yourself one of these Preston Mega Pots, they'll fit straight onto your pole. So, the thing with a pole is do everything slowly and carefully. So what I'm doing is I'm picking a far bank marker, which in my case is somebody's garden fence post over there, and I'm going to feed the ball of liquidized bread in there. Because I've wetted it, it's sunk straight down in an enticing cloud. So, detach the cupping kit. Notice how I'm keeping everything out of the way of people. Next thing, pick up the Silverfish kit, which is here, and I'm going to start off with a good sized punch of bread. As soon as I can find my bread punch, that is, which is here. Now I'm using a big punch here to start off with. I shall only play around with it for a few minutes. If nothing turns up, then I shall go to a smaller one. So, bread punch box, punch it, twist. I have to say these punches aren't as good as the Drennan ones. They have no slot in the side, so you have to push the bait out with your fingers or a discorder. That's why I don't use them very much, but I couldn't find my larger Drennan ones today, so this is what I'm stuck with. Anyway, bait up. Now I couldn't get any Tesco Stay Fresh bread today, so it's Warburton's medium sliced. Right, and here we go. First put in, make sure you hold the pole in the same place. It's about the same length as the whip, just lower the bait in. Now that will sink enticingly. Now I have about 18 inches of line between the pole tip and the float. Now all day it's been windy, and although I've been busy, I've been thinking, yes, this will be perfect conditions to show why the pole is superior, but sod's law says the wind has dropped, but never mind. So now we can hold it under perfect control. I'm only going to spend literally a minute on this, and then I'll change. No response, just try one more. In fact, I'm going to change already. I'm not happy with this big punch. It's not as good as the Drennan punches. I'm not going to use it anymore, so just put that in my side tray. Go back to my faithful Drennan punches, largest size. I also don't like this bread as much as the Tesco Stay Fresh. Some people swear by it. I personally am not that impressed. Here we go again. So lift it out, put the third section on. Lower it gently into position over where you fed the bread. and let's see what happens. I can't hang about tonight. I'm not going to spend too long on either method. The only good thing about fishing bread is I'm pretty sure that Reggie and Ronnie won't get. And here we go. And it's a fair sized fish. Hold the pole low, let the elastic do the work. How about that? Second put in with, and what have we got? It's a fair sized fish. Just let the elastic tire the fish out. What have we got? Don't rush it. Don't be in any great hurry. I guess we've got a bream. There's plenty of stretch in the elastic. This is a number 5 Preston slip. So I'm confident I can get most canal fish out. And what is it? I'm guessing a bream, but I haven't. Ooh. That's a nice bream. So gently slide the pole back, take the number 3 section off. Oh, this is such a big fish, I'm going to have a job getting it in my net. And I'm not joking. Whoa, that only just got in the net. And if I lift the net up, you will see what I mean. Now that is a proper fish. That is a really nice canal bream. Cyclist Jane just came past and commented, and he's dead right. That is a nice fish. That scourger, which I know I put in here. Unhook, place the pole out of the way. Whoa, baby. Now I must admit this has caught me by surprise. I did not expect to get one this good. So hopefully I'm going to hold it up for the camera. And how about that then? There you go. That's the power of bread punch on the pole. Yuck. As with all bream, they tend to be pretty slimy. Now that was a very good, solid fish. There was never any doubt as I would get it out. Now the only thing is, and I don't know if the camera is picking this up, but I have a trail of slime. So let's pop the discorder back where I can find it this time and clean the slime off the line. Now I'm going to show you this is not staged. That was literally my second put in, and my first one I changed to a smaller piece of bread. When you catch these bream, I think it's important to clear the slime off the line. Some people don't bother, but I like to. Right, so after that, I guess we better have another go. Bread punch. Now I've always sung the praises of bread, especially bread punch on the canal, and I think that is the proof of the pudding. Right, let's lower it in again. And see if these got any brothers about. Now that was a surprise. That's a good canal bream. I would guess that's probably £3 plus. And my net was a little on the small side. But I managed it. I missed a bite. So when you come in, just get into a routine. Unship the pole, take that bottom section off, rig to hand. Tuck it under your arm, rebait. Once you're in the routine, now after that one good fish, I'm not going to rebait. I don't like this bread. So many people sing his praises, but I'm not a mad lover of it. Right, let's swing it out and try again. Same thing again. Line it up on the same position, lower it down. And so we go from one extreme to the other. We've gone from a really quality canal bream to a tiny little roach. But that's the magic of canals. You never know what you're going to catch. I mean, not being funny, at 6:15, the first week of September, with the light falling, there is a possibility I could latch into one of the many carp that inhabit this canal. But regrettably, hook him on this elastic, and I think that's good night Vienna. But I'm going to give this about 15 minutes and then I'm going to change to the worm. So same routine, line it up, slowly lower it in, hold it still. Now this is the great advantage of the pole. I can put it in exactly the same place, exactly over my feed. And oh yes, another quality fish is on. Pole tip low, let the elastic do the work. I guess this feels like another bream, not maybe as big as the last one, but I'm happy whatever. Slide the pole back, take the last joint off, landing net. And he's safely in. Now, this is more the size I would expect to catch. Not a monster fish, a skimmer, small bream. Don't even need the discord. It was a lovely looking fish. Pound, I guess this is going to be a slimy session if the bream are on. So I'm not going to complain. Just keep them coming. Where's my rag? Yuck. That's the only snag with bream. They are slimy. But they're beautifully unmarked fish. Now, fishing not far away from here a few years ago, I had a bream just a couple of ounces under £6, which is a real rarity. I don't expect to see anything that size, mind you. I didn't expect to see anything the size of the first one, but hey ho, there we go. Where's my bread punch? I'm going to keep the worms out there for a minute. So what are the odds on getting another one? I'm not going to add any more feed because I put in a fair quantity. If the bites stop, I might put in another bit. Line it up, lower it in, and just hold it still. Now the canal's barely moving. I've got a bite straight away. There could be a good head of fish here tonight. Just goes to show, simple tactics, simple baits equals fish. Don't need to spend huge amounts of money. My bait bill tonight is negligible. Oh, missed that one. Break the pole down for a rebait. Yeah, this Warburton's I'm finding is not cutting as cleanly. So here we go again. Well, I've had to buy every put in bar the first. Missed a couple already. Line it up, same place, lower it in. This rig is the original one that came with the whip. All I've done is change the length of it and change the hook length. I must get round to retying it with some new line. Oh, and a bite again, and what have we got this time? Just a small fish this time. But I don't care, I'm happy. I'm sitting beside the water, I'm fishing, I'm catching, I'm having a wonderful time after quite a stressful day. And because I don't know when I'm next going to get out, I've got to crack on with some decorating, otherwise the boss will be on my case. Same routine, don't rush, don't try and be in a hurry. That's how you get tangles and things go wrong. Line it up, lower it in nice and gently, and then just hold it there. You know you're exactly over where you fed. This is the great thing with the pole, plumb up to the exact place on the bottom, feed in the place and present your hook bait. And another small fish. If the next fish is a small one, I might risk putting in a bit more feed. But with bread it's quite filling, even though this liquidised was frozen, re-liquidised and run through a flour riddle, it's still quite a filling bait. So, same routine, keep it up, don't rush. And how about this? This is 3 sections on a pole, and I've caught 2 really good fish and 3 small ones in what, 20 minutes? If that. Well, that was a bit of a fast bite, so I'm going to just try it again. That was probably a small fish, so feels like lucky dip fishing. You don't know what you're going to catch next, and I love that. And another bite. Missed that one as well. Didn't feel the fish either. So I think I'm going to try a little experiment. I'm just going to move the float up the line about a centimetre so the bait is just touching the bottom instead of just off it. If that doesn't work, I'll put it back to the original depth. Now you might notice me squashing the bread with my thumb before I punch it out. I wouldn't normally do this with my Tesco's bread, but yeah, and it's falling out the punch holder. Not happy with this. Not happy with this at all. One more try. If this doesn't work, I'll maybe put in a bit more feed. So again, don't rush. I know we all are impatient to catch fish. I want to catch fish, same as everybody else. What have we got this time? It's not a minute roach, that's for certain. It's a small skimmer. Now, one thing with the pole, do not risk lifting them. If they ping off the hook, you end up with a monumental tangle. So, only a hand-sized fish, so this one, but welcome just the same. Right, so we're back again. Now, I'm going to change to worms. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a good handful of dendrobinas, worms from my wormery, put them in the pole pot, and I'm going to introduce them to my friends, Edward Scissorhands. These are 3-bladed worm scissors.
I have my own.
Now this time I'm fishing the full length of the pole. 6 metres out. And ship it out, pick my far bank marker and drop the worms in. Back in, take the cupping top off. Pick up my big fish rig, and for bait I'm going to put a lobworm on.
Evening.
Evening, you look like you worked up a sweat then.
Yeah. Come on. Lydia, wait there. Did I smash you? Did I? Did I smash you?
Right, bait, lobworm. Just going to snip this one in half. Start off with the head end. And I'm going to put it on this size 10 hook. Now I always hook the cut end. And I thread it up the shank slightly and then pass the hook out. So what I'm going to do, add my pole sections on. There is the worm. Good substantial weight. Make sure I'm comfortable and drop the worm in. And then just sit there and hold the pole. Now I'm fishing in the deepest part of the canal called the boat channel. Now this might be a complete blowout, but I hope not. In fact, what I'm going to do is bring this in and I'm just going to spread the shot out so we have a nice slow fall of the hook bait. So I've spread out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, number 11 stots evenly over the length of the rig. And then I'm going to swing it out and just hold it. With a short pole, there's no problem fishing from a chair. You don't need a box. And this is quite a heavy old pole, but I can sit there all day and hold this. The end is underneath my elbow, so there's no strain on my arms or wrist. In fact, I'm pressing down with my elbow to hold it still. And all you do with this worm fishing is lift and drop. It's a bit like lure fishing. You're trying to attract a fish by movement. The difference being here is when the perch grab hold of it, they don't usually let go. Let the worm sink to the bottom, give it a few seconds, pick it up, lay it in again. So there's always that movement to attract perch. Perch definitely like a moving bait. Sometimes they'll want it static on the bottom, but they do like a moving bait. This is called chopped worm fishing, and it's an art on itself. It accounts for an awful lot of fish. It's one of a matchman's favourite tactics I learnt about 20 years ago, and it's caught me a lot of big fish. Just lift the pole up, drop it down. The float is a Drennan inline crystal dibber. It's tangle free, it's very robust. This is a 0.4 gram. Buoyant enough to support a big bait like half a lobworm. Oh, and I just had a little bite on it. And it's not just perch that will take this. Virtually there isn't a fish swimming in British waters that won't take a worm. I've caught quite a few pike and perch as well. I've caught every species going. Lift it up, drop it down. The only problem is Reggie and Ronnie could get in on the act, which I really hope they don't, but they might. When you get a bite, wait for the float to go under and count to 3 before you strike. It's important that. Now I've had the odd little dip and I'm praying this is not Reggie. And I've got a horrible feeling that was. Reggie and Ronnie, the Cray twins, can be a real pain. Now the one thing about crayfish is big perch and other big fish love eating them. Perch I've caught that have vomited up crayfish claws in my keep net. I know for certain that pike take them, carp, eels, all the big predatory fish will take a crayfish. So if you get infested by crayfish and they suddenly stop, that's a very good sign that there's a big fish around. Now, size-wise perch, anything from a couple of ounces to 4 pounds plus is possible. You cannot tell with this. You can also pick up bream, big roach, all sorts of species will take half a lobworm. In fact, sometimes I'm amazed that the fish get it into the mouth. Even little perch that are smaller than the lobworm will take it. Still getting little dips. I've got a horrible feeling Reggie and Ronnie are about. Now, you don't have to lift it out all the time. Sometimes just jigging it up and down is enough. A bit like the lure fishermen do. Oh, oh. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, missed. Okay, not to worry, straight back in again. Could have been a cray, might have been a very small fish, just grabbed the lobworm. That is why you count to 3, because you need them time to get this in their mouth. It's a substantial bait. go. What's happening here? Just lift and drop the lobworm. You can even sit back and relax in your chair and do it. Why not? Yes, and what have we got? Only small. And on this, yeah, ship the pole back, and don't need a landing net for this. And what did I say? How about that? A little skimmer has taken it. Half a lobworm. There you go, you can be fishing with a size 22 hook, catching skimmers, and yet they'll take something like that. Amazing. But it's not the target species, though I'm happy to have caught it. Let's go out there again. Might as well relax and enjoy this. Rest the pole underneath your arm and on your hand. That way there's no strain on you holding it. I mean, this is a heavy, cheap pole. If you've got a better quality pole, they weigh nothing. Well, how about that then? And here we have a surprise catch, a high, lovely quality roach on the lobworm. Just goes to show you the power of the worm. It's not a monster, but what a beautiful fish. How about that? Well, unfortunately the light is failing. I've managed two decent roach, couple of small skimmers, and regrettably 2 crayfish on the worm. So I'm going to give it another 5 minutes or so, and then I'll have to pack up, I think. Shame, because fish are feeding. So as you can see, the light's rapidly going, so let's have a quick catch shot. Now, I can't display these, but you can hear them thrashing around. So what I'm going to do is just lay them on the grass.
How far behind they get doing a loop of
And there is the fruits of the labours. Good bream, some nice roach, perch, skimmers.